Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome. Hi to our Sunday morning divine service. And today it's a really great joy to present the wonderful Ashley Oliver. Ashley was one of the ones right at the beginning of things to say, hey, why don't we try going online? So I remember our first ever attempt thinking, what are we doing? And who could have thought it's grown this much? Hugely, hugely. So without further ado, lovely Ashley. Thank you very much, dear.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, it feels like a really long time ago, doesn't it? But thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you'd like to join me now and join Lawrence in the opening prayer. So if you just take a couple of deep breaths just to center yourself and just feel that breath easing down into your body as we create this sacred space, this sacred time together. And so we ask our loved ones in the spirit world and all of our ancestors and our family members and all of those people that we know and love to come and be around us. And as we feel that circle of energy growing around us, we also invite the presence of God, of the divine energy, the grace that flows in between and through all of us, to come and be with us as we create this sacred space together. And as we're feeling that energy rising within us and that feeling of blending happening and occurring, we ask that everything that is done within this time together, friends, is done to the highest and best that we can achieve as individual workers for spirit. And as we come together in this collective to light the flame and light the candle for spirit to come and for peace to happen upon this earth, to illuminate and touch the minds of all of those people seeking and all of those people who are in need at this time. As this light extends and ignites from my heart to your heart, and you feel that warmth and energy growing within you, feel it now emanating through your hands as we send that light to where it is needed, to all of those people who are in need at this time. And as the vibration of this planet is rising, we ask to be directed to where we are needed, where our work is required in this world. And with that in mind, I ask to be used as a clear and pure channel for your thoughts and inspiration to work to my highest and best as a servant and eternal student of the Spirit. We leave this beautiful service now in your care and keeping, knowing that we are divinely protected and eternally loved. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful, Ashley. Thank you. And now, if you'd like to join in for a short time, just to say the Lord's Prayer together, please. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Ashley. That was lovely. That was yeah, you could really feel that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now go on to that part of the service dedicated to healing. Those of you who are aware of how the healing energies work, absolutely wonderful. Anybody new joining us, please understand a very big part of spiritualism and spirituality is working within that healing vibration through mediumship, through the laying on of hands, through absent healing. And it's a gift that everybody can do. Don't think, oh, I'm not a healer, I can't do that, because your spirit, first and foremost, your spirit. And as your spirit, you can send out that love and that empathy to those that you know and even those that you don't know. And don't forget to ask for yourselves, just for that healing. So just shift your mindset and your vibration just now into that vibration time, into that healing vibration time. And just go to the heart center where all love, all compassion emanates from. And now just gently think of those dear ones, the people you know, situations, your family. It matters not. It matters not. Wherever you ask for healing, it will be delivered. So if you just join in now, just for a short time, just on this healing vibration and sending out that wonderful love. Thank you all for joining in on that vibration. Oh, you know, it's amazing. You keep seeing these videos, and what a beautiful world we live in. Absolutely stunning. You know, we tend to look as far as the end of our noses, I think, at times. But yeah, amazing. Anyway, now is your time again to join in all, because we have our hymn. I was flicking through the hymns this morning, and when the tears started flowing, I thought, right, well, either this is so bad that it's making me cry, or more likely, our friends upstairs were saying, we'd like that one today. So here we go, get ready. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that one. I heard a little from you when that came on, Ashley. So I think something, a little chord was struck there.
Absolutely. You will not know how appropriate that hymn is.
Brilliant. Yeah. I trust them. I don't trust me. I trust them.
Absolutely.
Without any further ado, people have not come to listen to me. They come to listen to you. So please, Ashley, continue. Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lawrence. Isn't it amazing how it works? Lawrence has picked probably the most appropriate hymn that he could have picked today. So I was very honoured to be asked to come and take this service for you today. And the reading I've picked is from White Eagle. If anyone who knows me knows how much I love the cadence and the wisdom that comes from White Eagle. And today is Pentecost in the Christian calendar. And as a Christian spiritualist church, it's important that we're going to talk about Pentecost in a little bit more detail. So White Eagle, just to explain who he was the guide of Grace Cook, a medium, a beautiful medium who passed in 1979. And White Eagle was a collective, a group of souls in the spirit world that came back through the spokespersonship of White Eagle to impart some great wisdom. So I'm going to read you a small excerpt from his book about celebration. Listen. If you could but give yourself time to withdraw from the outer or material planes of life and listen, when sitting at peace in your garden or walking in the open places within your towns or within the quiet country lanes, give yourself time to listen to the voice of love, which then will surely make itself known in the quiet of your heart. This, beloveds, is the great secret of life on the earth plane. Those who live on this material plane are barren and starved, whatever work they put in their hand to do, because they are not contacting the spirit. They are not finding the quiet within their own souls. They do not dwell in the fullness that they were intended to by our Mother, Father, God. This divine grace has given everyone on the earth the gift of love and wisdom which lies in the heart. Test our words for yourself and observe those who are trying, according to their own understanding, to express themselves artistically, musically, or using the gift of healing. And note how many of those people are in touch with this spiritual life. Those so in touch express that life within their work and service to the spirit. Others working purely on the intellectual plane may give brilliant service and may give a significant contribution to the world, but there is something lacking, as the spirit and the power of that spirit does not shine through. In a perfectly executed piece of music, although technically perfect, unless the spirit is within, it fails to achieve its purpose. So, beloveds, cultivate the art of listening in your quiet moments to the Spirit, and it will speak in one language, the language of love. Love brings to your heart peace and kindness and tolerance, a desire to forget selfish aims, and a longing, a deep longing to give that which your spirit has revealed to you as a gift to the rest of humanity. So, friends, what do we do at this time of Whitsun, at this time of Pentecost? We want you to think of Whitsun as a time of renewal for humanity. The great spirits met together with one accord in place, that the gathering together of men and women in one place, in one accord, was part of the plan, was part of the religion and part of the thesis that God's beings came to earth in the beginning to help humanity find a way of being and find a way to God. They taught these young humans on this early planet how to gather together at certain times of year, such as solstices and equinoxes, and at times of the full moon, when a special power comes to the earth. And they showed them and they taught them, these people who sat in the stillness and listened. They showed them how to raise their consciousness to God, to receive the inflow of information and guidance. So it is no new thing for humanity to meet together in groups or in brotherhoods. Throughout the ages, men and women have drawn together in the name of Spirit to worship the Mother Earth, to worship the source of all life. So when the early Christians met together, they were only following a pattern that they had learnt from all of those ancestors that had come before, a pattern of meeting together for quiet communion, sitting in the stillness to be in the presence of Spirit and God. For men and women in those remote days, it was their pattern, their picture of God, their expression of God in nature. And people today on the earth plane at this time will have to learn to come back into that harmony within the natural laws and the spiritual laws. Simply the law of love. Many today are so involved in their material life, so involved in the worries and the anxieties of this physical life that they have no time to withdraw. They have no time to attune themselves to that deep cosmic love. But men and women on this earth must fight for their rights. But God asked you to be still and to love. All of the great masters of all time and all ages have all taught the same fundamental truth. This does not mean that you do nothing to heal a wound, or you do nothing to take action, or you do nothing to heal the wounds of others. But it means that you must at heart practice the laws of the Spirit. And by doing so, set in motion the great power of divine magic that can overcome all darkness. Whatever the conflict, whatever the problem in your life, be patient and give love. Give thanks and deep gratitude, and give forth the Spirit, and you will find that all of that magic will do its own work. This is a positive state of mind. This is a state of positive good, which will help the whole world. And so at Whitsun, at Pentecost, all of the heavenly brethren drew together in one accord, that of love. They raised their consciousness to the heavenly life, to the light, and they waited. And as they waited, the great light poured down into their hearts. They were filled with the Spirit. The great spirithood consists of the souls of men and women who have walked this earth, who have consciously received this outpouring of the great white light of love. Thank you, friends.
Wonderful, wonderful. Please continue, darling.
So, as I was thinking about how to translate some of the thoughts that come from within Christian spiritualism and Christianity and the energy of Pentecost, and it being such an important holiday because it talks about this great outpouring of love. And I was looking for the metaphysical symbols and asking Spirit to give me guidance on the lessons that I can pull from my own truth and offer them as a gift for our time together today. And the thing that immediately sprang to mind was that I'm very fortunate during my seminary training to be spending time learning about many different faith paths. And I'm meeting some amazing people. And one of the things which is coming to the fore in our training is the art of sacred listening. And this to me was something which was somewhat of a revelation, to put a name to the space that we create as souls coming into contact with other souls. Because the need for empathy and being seen and being heard is a common need. And I remember very clearly being involved in an exercise on one of the days that we spent during our seminary training, which is an exercise which is called I See You and I Hear You. And it's a very simple exercise. You walk up to another person and you take a breath and you allow yourself to be fully present in your body, fully present in your soul, the seat of your soul, wherever that is. And you look deeply into the eyes of another person in front of you. And you take turns to say two phrases. And one of them is, I see you. And the other one is, I hear you. And I was unprepared for how that cracked open my heart somewhere. That it expressed a real yearning that many people have to be seen and to be heard. to feel that soul-to-soul connection, that you can drop all pretense and you can be stood there in your magnificence and your vulnerability. One soul stood in front of another. And so for me, learning the art of this sacred listening is something which is a true gift to me, and something that I offer now willingly and freely, looking for those opportunities to be that mirror for somebody else, that opportunity to take a break from the rat run in order to have that time. So learning to listen is something, we talk about learning listening skills, but for the vast majority of people, listening to somebody else is processing what they're saying and waiting for an opportunity for you to have your say. It becomes actually quite a superficial level of listening. So that's not only true in terms of listening to another person, another soul in front of you, another spirit incarnate in a physical body at this time, but also when we listen to the spirit world. It's interesting to me, the thoughts and the questions that come through, people saying, how do I listen to spirit? How do I hear them? How do I hear what they're trying to say to me? How do I translate what they're saying to me? It's because we're not listening with an open heart, with no expectation, just being there in the present moment. We're listening with our own lens of wanting information, of wanting things for us, wanting to know things which matter to us, rather than allowing the grace of spirit to bring what is needed to us at this time. And feeling heard and understood and creating that space for spirit to talk to us is absolutely essential at this time. When we cry out to God, to the universe, whoever it is that you speak to when you're on your knees in the middle of the night, whoever you cry out to, God responds by sending people. We have doctors and nurses working tirelessly, and friends and family that come unbidden many times and pick up the phone, and you say, thank goodness you phoned, I need to hear your voice. The reassurance that we are not alone and that we are loved and guided and protected on this pathway is what drives us, is what makes us feel connected. But sometimes God answers prayers by sending other people, earth angels, putting synchronicities in our pathway. We need to be open to the holy moments in life, that if you are that person that has been sent by God to help somebody else, that you are an earth angel. When this happens, God is not asking us as these agents for God to take responsibility for other people's problems, to think with our conscious mind of solutions, to start to create, to disempower that person, to take their own free will away with the best of intentions, to offer healing and support, to try and fix that problem. God only asks us to be in the moment and to channel the energy of, I see you and I hear you. And to allow that person to come to the moment of grace, to sit quietly with the assistance of our energy blending with theirs, listening in vulnerability, to be truly themselves and truly to be seen, to find their own solution. We must walk our own path, and we cannot abdicate our responsibility for our own soul's growth. We can be seen or we can be heard by another person. We're creating a holy moment. So all God is asking for us to do is to be attentive and to listen. So Pentecost is a Christian festival, but it was overlaid onto an earlier Jewish festival. It's the Feast of Weeks, which happens 50 days after Passover. And it was initially an agricultural festival, which was bringing in the first harvest, and the people would all return to Jerusalem in order to pay taxes and to celebrate one of these festivals that was mentioned by White Eagle, one of these very early festivals to celebrate the first crop and the first harvest. And the story of Pentecost goes that all of the disciples and followers of Jesus were assembled in a feast room. And they were waiting, as was told by Jesus, waiting for him to return. And then what happened was a great wind blew up. And wind is used as a symbol within metaphysics to mean the rushing of God, that feeling, that rush of energy that you get when you connect to that God force, when you connect to the spirit world. And this great rushing wind happened, and this great flame came from the heavens and descended into the hearts of the disciples. And they were able to speak, and they were able to talk in many different languages. And they were able to express themselves in thoughts and feelings that had never occurred to them before. And they were part of that holy moment. They'd sat and they'd patiently waited, and they'd sat in silence and stillness. They'd followed the guidance and followed the direction that they were given. And at that moment, they all became disciples. They all became holy agents for change. So the mystery of Pentecost, as far as I can see, is that patience and deep listening that's required in order to be fully called to service, to understand what it is that's our role, what it is as our sole purpose, in order to be able to help those people around us on the earth plane at this time, and to serve the spirit world. As we all serve the spirit world, we're all light workers, we're all spirit workers, we are spirit. So as we are spirit incarnate, we are serving the spirit. But what was interesting for me for the story of Pentecost is that they were not being blindly sent out into the world and not being equipped. That divine intelligence and grace stepped forward when they put themselves in a position of service and said, we want to help to raise the consciousness of this planet. They weren't left alone to figure it out. They were given information. They were given all of the tools that they would need through the many gifts of the Spirit, through speaking, artistry, bardship, healing, the written arts, midwifery, many of the many skills that are required within early civilization in order to be right at the heart of community so that they would be able to affect change. Not stood on a pulpit. This gift of the Spirit was not given to the prophets and the seers and the priests in the temple. This was given to people who gathered in trust and love. And they were able to walk amongst people and with people in community in order to be able to put those droplets of wisdom into the hearts and minds of people they came across. And so the gift of spirit work and the gift of ministry, I see the gift of ministry is the ability to see and the ability to hear people exactly where they are and to empower them to realize the gold that's within their own soul, to help them find the spark, to hold a lit match towards them so that they can ignite their own flame and they understand what it is that is their sole purpose, what is their unique gift that they're bringing to the world, and to help them express that gift and realize that gift. This broken and hurting world is filled with broken and hurting people. People who are suffering from all manner of adversity at this time and before this time and after this time. We can offer as agents of change for that divine energy. We can offer a reassurance of God's love. We can offer hope. We can offer compassion and offer that time and space for the holy moment to happen. Spirit teaches us. Spirit offers us companionship and the tools that we need in order to be able to help. The Holy Spirit compels us to find people and actively seek people, whether consciously or subconsciously, that need help. To give them our undivided attention, to be present with them. We so often feel ill-equipped and woefully inadequate for this task. And one of the great double-ended swords of being a sensitive person who is on a spiritual pathway is a deep feeling that you will hear expressed through many teachers and many mediums of not being enough. I am not big enough. I am not ready to be called to this. If you feel a compulsion to help and to serve, if you feel that restless yearning for spirit, to learn and to grow in your own ability, it's time to reflect now at this time with this Pentecost energy that's around us, with this energy of newness and harvest, as we come to the end, potentially, of this physical lockdown, and we're caused to reflect back on how we've spent the last weeks and months and how we can grasp and harness the energy that's been brought to this planet, how we can serve. And how are you going to answer that call? Many spiritual teachers talk about being in nature and grounding yourself. This is all wise advice, as we heard from White Eagle. Being in nature is a soothing, healing balm and a place of energizing and reigniting of your own flame. But this must be a conscious process, as well as a receptive, resting process. There must be a conscious blending with the natural world and this planet, using the at-oneness to deeply listen to the peace within you. Many of the spiritual teachers long before Jesus walked on the earth, such as Buddha, have been since the dawn of time talking to humankind about how to harness the wisdom of the natural world as a place for healing, for a place to be at peace, for a place for our physical bodies to feel at home, to allow our soul and our spirit to take flight and to reconnect with the spirit world while our body is being held and gently cared for by the physical planet. We would call this, as spiritualists and people who are following this understanding, sitting in the power. And it is spoken about a lot. Many faith paths from all over the world have a similar practice, although they would probably call it different things. But this is not meditation, which is an active process of the mind. This is a process of settling back into the soul, settling into that innate part of you that is a divine spark, and allowing that spark to rest and to gain in strength and gain in power and gain in energy. And as it gains in energy, it illuminates your mind with the flame and the spark of that divine spirit to inform you where your soul needs to go, what your soul needs, and where your soul purpose will take you. You will always be divinely guided to those people who can help you and to those people that you can help. So don't underestimate the power of your presence and your gift in this world. The very simple gift of your ability to physically reach out to another person, whether that is through physical touch or whether that is through picking up the phone or writing a letter. You have the ability to touch the lives of so many people. And it's through your presence that God makes themselves felt upon the earth plane. We are ambassadors for God's presence in this broken world. We are the witnesses and we are the enablers for other people to recognize their own light. We are the agents of hope and healing. We are not providing the healing. That is coming through us. We are the agents for allowing that energy to happen. So let us be present with others in the face of their distress and open ourselves up to our own vulnerability and our own distress so that we do the hard yards upon ourselves, so that we can fully understand when we meet another person in distress, what that tastes like, what that feels like, so that we can return to that energy and use that as a mechanism to call upon support from the world of spirit to help them. We have been gifted with time, friends. And this quiet and turning inwards to utilize our own resources. We've lost many of the distractions in this fast, physical, material world, this superficial life, and we should have been learning how to turn our attention inwards, learning to tap into the stillness of ourselves and nature, working alongside that natural world and harnessing the power of ancient wisdom to give our souls rest and recovery so that we are ready to move forward to the next phase of this understanding and this unfolding happening on the planet at this time. We are the agents of the holy fire, touching the souls of people on this earth at this time, people who are yearning and people who are seeking understanding, seeking confidence and reassurance that they are never alone, that when they pass to the world of spirit, that they will be met, that if they cannot be with their loved ones at the end of their physical life, that nobody leaves this planet alone, that everyone is met. We have the gift of being able to offer that reassurance to others. What a gift. So I return to what I say about the spirit of the Pentecost and our role within this. And God will always answer a prayer of somebody in need by sending people. And I truly believe that we are the people that are being sent at this time. So I will leave you with those thoughts. Friends, thank you so much. And walk in the light and do what you need to do to rest your soul, to prepare yourself for what is to come. Thank you. Thank you.
Ashley, I knew today was going to be special. I underestimated how special it was going to be. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Everything, bringing home the meaning of Pentecost. I must admit, I have a lot of my ignorance to that, so I've learned an awful lot, so thank you. Interestingly enough, there is somebody on today And less than 24 hours ago, this person asked me, what's the difference between meditation and sitting in the power? So there you go, Susan, you got your answer. Pretty. My explanation was quite brief. Yours was all encompassing. Thank you. Absolutely beautiful. I know that you held everybody transfixed because there was virtually no movement in the chat box. So that was absolutely lovely. Only the odd ones dropping in late, but that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So I know everybody was just sat there hanging on to your every word. That was brilliant. And I really love, you know, when you remember when I first had the honor of taking you out to introduce you to some of the churches.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you displayed you didn't just do a reading. You actually talked about the reading, the way it was given, the way it was delivered, the history of it. You know, it was just such deep underpinning wisdom concerning it. And I was always like, oh yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. So thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence, for being a very, very gracious teacher.
Oh, I'm not a teacher. I just open doors, love. I'm not a teacher, I'm a doorman. If anybody out there has any questions at all for Ashley, you know, we are going to see this a lot with the online movement, that not every service will contain mediumship. And do you know what? Great, because, you know, the mediumship is absolutely beautiful. I'm talking to everybody here, obviously. Mediumship is a wonderful gift. It can bring around so much healing and upliftment. It's not the be all and end all of our movement. You know, when you hear philosophy like that given and then directed by spirit, that's what spiritualism is about. It's about living this life. It's not about death. It's about life. And this phase of our life now. So yeah, I'm all for them. I'm absolutely loving the amount of philosophy talks, discussions, Q&As going on at this time, and very, very adamant that should continue in that vein, because it's only by being together in this way, asking those questions. I always say to everybody, and people who know me go, oh, here he goes. No, no question is daft if you don't know the answer. It's as simple as that. Absolutely. You know, and not asking it when you're given the opportunity. That's probably started to drift into daft land.
Well, we were really dead set, weren't we, when we first had the crazy conversation? Because I remember actually serving Paul. It was the last service, because I was phoning lovely Janet the morning of the service to say, is Paul Church still open? Are we still going to go? We keep hearing rumours there's going to be a lockdown. And Spirit said to me so clearly, you must go. You must go. And I remember being stood in your beautiful church and the fantastic energies in there, and just feeling this real bittersweet feeling, because you think this could be the last physical service we have for a little while. Yep. So it's really important that we keep the wheels in motion. And so I phoned you, didn't I, the day after, and said, Lawrence, what do you think about this? And actually we were quite keen to push the philosophy, because actually that's what people turn to. If we think of crisis that happen in humanity, actually every time there's a big physical crisis on the planet, people turn to the philosophy, because it gives you some underpinning, gives you some foundation.
Very true, very true. Yeah. And you know, I love the symmetry and the way our energies interweave, because here we were, you've just brought up the last physical service in this lovely church, and our discussion this morning pre-coming on air is how we're going to go forward when we can actually start meeting again. So it's you know, it's just so interesting. This is not coincidence. This really isn't. People are just saying, here you go.
Yeah.
Do with it what you will. Work with it, great. If you don't work with it, oh well, somebody else will.
Absolutely. Stay open.
So the lovely Jamie, the man of a million questions.
Jamie.
I absolutely love Jamie, because he will always come out and present a question, and brilliant questions as well. So keep it up, Jamie. And you did a wonderful service. You did a service online for us a little while back, and it was great. It was really good.
Really good. Yeah, I know that Jamie's a fellow fan of the philosophy as well. So hello, Jamie. So seminary training. This is really interesting. So I'm on an interfaith pathway, so I am training to be an interfaith minister, which is something that's a real passion of mine, being able to recognize that, if you liken humanity to a tree, a big oak tree, that we all are in the same earth and we all have roots that tap into the same nutrients of the physical plane. And then the branches, we're all on different branches, and each of the leaves are in the same light. They're all reaching towards the same light, but there are many different branches, and some of them are thick and substantial, and some of them are slightly newer and maybe slightly less well known. But within all of those understandings, they're all rooted in the same earth and they're all reaching to the same light. So for me, the interfaith pathway is something that I'm finding really rewarding, and meeting many amazing people from all walks of life and all different understandings. And it's expanding my horizons and giving me an opportunity to serve and to express different thoughts and ideas. I'm really enjoying it. It's really, really challenging and hard work. But it's just such an integral part of my pathway on this ministry journey. So thank you, Jamie. Hope that answers your question.
Lovely. And I love that description as well, very much. One of my favorite phrases is same light for a different window. You know, all religions are based on the same fundamentals, and that's love and love yourself, serve one another.
Yeah.
No matter what it's called, no matter how much has been built on over the years, the basic message is that no matter what book you pick up. So yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Interesting one.
This is really interesting, and I was I don't know whether I've read it or heard it. I'm a complete fan of audiobooks, and I've got loads of them on the go at once because I do a lot of travel. Before lockdown, did a lot of traveling around, and actually for me, I prefer to listen to things and allow it to wash over me as opposed to physically reading a book. But I do remember hearing something about animals who are attracted to our change in vibration. So when we require healing, when energetically our energy field is subdued, then animals are pre-programmed to pick up changes in our energy field. And especially cats and dogs will come around you. I find it so fascinating that, Lawrence, when you're doing meditation and your energy is dropping into a different vibration, more often than not, you will have a furry that comes and wants to be around you and kind of get involved in the action. And I definitely remember when we were sitting in our kind of family circle in the seance room, that as soon as we started, as soon as the lights went off and we put the music on and we opened in prayer, then the cat would invariably be scratching at the door because they're kind of attracted to that spiritual energy. Cats and animals and all dogs are very, very attuned to the spirit. Certainly my mum's cat was very spooky because she used to do that whole kind of thing, and you think, who is she seeing in the house? Who is she recognizing around her? But animals are definitely very healing. There's been so much research done in hospitals of bringing animals in, especially within a hospice environment or within a children's ward, for those people, and isn't it a beautiful analogy, at either end of life that respond on a very, very fundamental level to the presence of animals. They're a very tactile, unconditional love that they bring as agents of healing from the spirit, because they are spirit as well. They're agents of healing. So yeah, listen to that. If you're being drawn to nature, if animals are being drawn to you, if you're feeling a yearning to connect with animals, then that is a deep nurturing. I feel a deep nurturing that needs to happen, and a releasing as well. As I'm feeling that, I'm feeling my heart start to open. It feels like there's a releasing there as well that's needed. Hopefully that answers your question, Kathy.
Lovely explanation. Those of you may remember one of the services about a month ago, I was in the red chair then, the posh chair. And I was just going into the healing time, and I leant forward, and as I did, I felt somebody jump on the back, and I thought, oh, please stay there, please stay there. Oh no. Halfway through talking about healing, this little head appeared above. Hi, I'm here.
Love it.
You couldn't have trained her to do that.
Yeah.
There we go. Lovely Ems Bailey. Hello, Ems.
Hi, Ems. Lovely words. Where can you read more? White Eagle. I love White Eagle. Silver Birch has some amazing wisdom. Red Cloud has amazing wisdom. it's written in a language that was expressed through the medium's vocabulary, the medium's inner directory, and the energy that was around at that time. But definitely go to the older books. And I say that because mediumship then was valued, the ability to be able to bring the thoughts and words of spirit into the written word. People had a lot of patience, and they would sit for years and years and years and years in order to be able to receive this guidance, and it would be painstakingly written down. So the old books are wonderful, and I must admit I'm very blessed because I was brought up with a spiritual mum and dad, and they have given me the benefit of many, many diligent years of collecting some of these really, really rare books and old books. But certainly White Eagle is still in print now. White Eagle Lodge is operating and running within Hampshire. So do go on their website, and they actually sell all the back catalogues of books there for you to be able to access them. We're also blessed with the internet, which puts many resources, click of a button that we can go and find that. But don't discount some of the books which are coming to light at the moment. They may have a different packaging, they may be a slightly different angle, and maybe a slightly different way of looking at it, but don't discount some of the books which are being published, and authors that are their minds are being kissed and impinged by the spirit world to say, this is what's needed now. We're going to take the wisdom and put it into a way that can be seeded and scattered now in the fertile soil of humankind as we are, because some people just don't have the time to go back and read those books, and they may be in a language which feels like a barrier to people understanding what's being said. And I know that some people are put off by words and flowery sentences. So it's important you find whatever resonates with you. And there's some wonderful authors who are currently being inspired by spirit to bring their work to the fore right now. But read as much as you can. And if you can get hold of any of the Silver Birch books, or any of those books really, and White Eagle and Red Cloud, they're definitely worth a read. Okay. Thank you, Ems.
Yeah, lovely answer. And definitely, I find the older the book, the more substantial they are. Mm-hmm. However, full agreement. We were talking about a title just before we came on air. Yeah. There are books coming out today and now, which really do. Reading and your whole ethos, your whole spirituality is personal to you. Mm-hmm. And just finding that. And then finding that which supports you on that pathway at this time. Yeah. Nobody can say you must read this, you have to do that. Please, try things, but if it doesn't suit, just put it gently down and look for something else. Ems really does.
And I think that's why the interfaith pathway just resonated with me, that there's the ability to reach into other understandings and pull those pearls of wisdom from everywhere. And bring it to the fore. So yeah, don't discount anything. And actually, if you're going to stay open to it, you may be inspired to read something which definitely does not feel like a spiritual book, but you may read that and be guided towards it. So I think it's cartomancy, I think that's what it's called, or bibliomancy. But there is a gift that you can practice, which is to go to your bookshelf or go to a library or a bookshop, wherever, when they're back open, and just kind of be guided, allow your fingertips to be guided along the bookshelf and pull it out, and then be guided to allow a page to fall open, and you'll be amazed the guidance and wisdom that comes from that. I was guided to do that by a book in an RSPB gift shop of all places, and I picked up the book, and it's got very little. I wasn't in a mindset of looking for some spiritual understanding, but I'd asked Spirit to give me some assistance to prepare an address for a church service. In fact, you were with me at that church service. And I opened this RSPB book, and it was about transformation. And it was about the power of connecting with birdsong and how birds are able to transfer and adapt their bird song and their bird call depending on where they were. And on the surface, it's a book about birds. But when you start to dive underneath into the metaphysical symbols, and you start to listen with an intuitive heart, you can hear different guidance coming to the fore. So I would recommend just enjoy diving into books, enjoy diving into reading, and see what spirit have to teach you.
Yeah, most definitely, because one of the actual benefits of reading that we tend to overlook is we talk about getting into that meditative state. Well, you know what? One of the best ways of doing that is to sit there with a good book that engages your physical brain, and that allows your intuition to become that little bit more sharper. So it really is. It's a wonderful way. reading a book is just like having a chill pill and a bottle of wine. It brings everything down, but you really do open up to spirit, because spirit are so keen to work with us. And, if we pick up something looking to develop our spirituality or just spirituality in general, they're going to be there going, oh, what are you doing? So, yeah, absolutely wonderful. Ashley, we're going to listen to you absolutely all day. You are so gifted. And I know one day I shall be introducing, what will you be, the Reverend or the Minister?
Don't know yet. I'll leave it open to spirit.
Reverend Ashley Oliver. Minister Ashley Oliver.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you.
Whatever it is, it's going to be lovely.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Dan, thank you for having me this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, listen, mate, it's been our pleasure. There's so many positive comments coming in. People absolutely loved you. Absolutely. Just that final duty for now, please. A closing prayer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. Thank you for sharing time and space as we just allow ourselves to allow some of what we've discussed just to wash over us as we settle into that deeper state of being. I'd invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, to retreat to that inner space, to shut our eyes in order to block out the physical, tangible world that's in front of our eyes that diverts and draws our attention away from our soul. And as you take a couple of deep breaths, I'd invite you just to put your hand on your heart or your solar plexus or wherever it feels comfortable to you. And as you take some deep breaths, I just invite you to drop into that place. And as was said, as was inspired by Spirit, to recognize the gift that you are. The gift and the agent of that God force, that divine energy being expressed for a short time in physical form on this earth. And with that, feel the rising of your energy and an outpouring of love for yourself. And as we sit in this period of grace, friends, we thank you for everything that's happened as we've created this sacred space together, as we've shared this time, as we've come together in the spirit of fellowship and communion with that of the divine. We thank you for all of the healing that has happened as a conscious process of sending out that absent healing. But for all of those moments, those holy moments that have happened during this time together, allowing things to drop in place, to click into place, for things to become illuminated to our own mind, for giving us the opportunity to have thoughts of how we can be of service. We would like to thank and send deep respect and love to all of those people from the spirit world that have come around us, that irrespective of whether there has been mediumship happening during this service, there has been a change and your spirit loved ones have been around you, intently listening to what has been said, intently listening to the thoughts of your own hearts and mind, and your yearning desire to be of service and to carry on their legacy, to carry on the work that was done in this deep healing vibration. And so as they're around you this afternoon, I'd encourage you to create space and time for you to sit quietly, to allow those thoughts to come to your mind, to allow your guides and your helpers and your loved ones to be with you to guide you onwards. We would like to send any of the light that has been generated as we've ignited the candle within our own soul to be sent out to the four corners of the earth, wherever it is needed. And so, friends, we would like to leave this afternoon in your care and keeping, knowing that we are safe and loved always. Until we meet again, friends. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Very quickly now, just some notices. Tonight, the lovely the lovely Ashley will be the other side of the camera.
Double, yeah.
I know. You know, we both do the presenting of these things, and being the guest is sort of like a bit, I don't know what to do now. But anyway, over on the Light Weymouth Christian Spiritualist Church page, at 6:15, Ashley has the Reverend Kevin Lee, who from the Metaphysical Chapel of South Florida.
Yeah.
So there you go. We had those of you joined us last night. We had New York last night, and tonight we've got Florida. Wow.
All in little old Dorset, eh?
I know. How awesome. How awesome is that?
Yeah,
So yeah.
Yeah.
If you're around this evening, 6:15,
Thank you.
I'll post a link onto the bottom of this video once we're off air, so that'll be lovely. But with our own church here down in sunny Poole on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we have Eddie Saunders taking our service. Eddie's from Bristol, lovely fella. He's out of lockdown. He's a long distance lorry driver, so when he's in the area, he always drops into the churches. Really nice fella, so looking forward to him on Wednesday. Friday night we have at 7 o'clock an evening with Colin and Fran Moore Hill. I've said that wrong, I know, and they're going to shout at me. No, I haven't. I can just see it on the right there. Yep, I said it right. And they'll be doing an introduction to quantum mechanics and the potential link to spiritual proof. Now, if you're all sat there going, what's that about? Do you know what? Watch it and find out.
Yeah. It's not all maths.
God for that. That's all right. Now I'm safe then. I thought I would have to bring a protractor and a ruler. But yeah, quantum physics is something that's quite often mentioned in spiritualist circles. I must admit I am totally ignorant to it. So I'm looking forward to having my eyes opened a bit and learning a bit more, because this is why we're here, is keep learning. So yeah, that's Friday night, 7 o'clock. Saturday night at 7 o'clock, we have Gareth Lewis taking our evening, informal evening of chat and mediumship. Gareth is a very prolific medium, works up and down the country, often double act. Oh, that's wrong, naughty. Duos, does not double act. Lawrence, go and stand in the corner. With demonstrates. Oh, God, I'm going to get so beaten up for this. Demonstrates with the lovely Craig Morris. So we're looking forward to that evening with Gareth. And if he's watching, he's probably just counselling right now, so never mind. And then where are we? On next Sunday, we have Suzette Carlisle Thorley taking our service. So another full week. Meditation, Monday night at 7, Saturday morning 9 a.m. Tuesday and Thursday, we invite you to link in. It's not an online event, but link in with our healers and just send out or receive that healing energy. So, on behalf of Poole Christian Spiritual Church, thank you so much. And Ashley?
You're welcome. Been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Real joy, real joy. People absolutely love you. Oh, hello, I'm getting told off about... Oh, Gareth Lewis is on. Hello, Gareth.
Hello, Gareth.
I do apologise, Gareth. This is not connected to that a lot of the time. This
no, it's with spirit. It's
yeah.
With spirit.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Please take care. Please look after yourselves. Stay safe. Stay sane. It's not weak to be a little bit frightened, a little bit upset. You know, just get it out of the way. Talk to people. You know. If you feel something a bit not sure about, the best way to sort it out is talk to people and don't feel silly, you know, because as we've just covered, Ashley has just covered so well, you know, people are here to offer that help, that assistance. You know, don't think, oh, I'm being silly. You know, we all have those moments of, you know what, I'm really having trouble here. So, yeah. Look after yourselves, everybody. Take care. God bless.
Have a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye.